I lost a friend, I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the monsoon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. the bass guitar. Simmer down and mess me up. Tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford. Shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word. 'Cause you got me holding, holding.
They said, don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run, don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. Break down. Until you break down. They said, be meek. Look beneath the bed before you go to sleep. Keep on, I shine. Will surely get burned if you reach out and touch. My mind is a battle, I'm trying to hide it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall fast to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you
Welcome everybody back to the Streamline Minor League for the first season, and today we have one matchup between Sabretooth Wolves and Nevermind Esports. Hope you'll be ready to join us. My name is Sort. I will be joining you today as the only caster for this match, and we will be looking to get into the map bans very, very soon between these two teams. This is for the Div B match between Nevermind Esports and Sabretooth Wolves. We've had a lot of interesting games in the past few days, and as we wait for our teams to load up and get moss and all those things ready, we will see what is possible there. So between these two teams, we haven't seen these teams go against each other yet, so we will find out what their skills are very, very soon. And hopefully we have a good game. In terms of bans and things, I'm looking forward to a bit of a different thing, a bit of a different map, a different kind of style. The last game I casted was between SYG and Virus Esports, and that was an absolute barn burner on Cafe. Although I have heard that the match, including Triple Take, was also an absolute masterclass and absolute treasure to watch. So maybe we might get the same thing with Sabretooth Wolves and Nevermind Esports. So right now, I believe we are going to be moving on to map bans whenever the teams are ready. And the map pool for this match is the same as it's always been. We have Clubhouse, Coastline, Consulate, Cafe, Oregon, Theme Park, and Villa. And we've seen a lot of Clubhouse play, but Nevermind Esports will start the ban phase off by banning out Coastline, and we will look to Sabretooth Wolves' first ban. Coastline, pretty standard ban these days. A lot of teams don't like it because of just how frag heavy it can be and how much of an absolute mess it is sometimes, with people running left, right, and center, gunning and fragging and opening up walls when you don't notice it. So if you're a team that likes to play a bit more passively, then sometimes Coastline is the play to go for. We will look for Sabretooth Wolves' first ban, and they will ban out Consulate. Another match that would have a lot of runouts, I believe, with Consulate, with all the windows and all the possible spawn peeking points. And we don't have spawn rushing. We don't allow spawn rushing within this league, but we do have rules to allow teams to spawn peak. So Consulate being off the board is something that, maybe Sabretooth Wolves don't like to have to push super hard. And Theme Park will be coming out as our second ban from Nevermind Esports. Theme Park, another standard ban coming out from the teams. We haven't seen a lot of Theme Park because it's just a bit too new, and teams are still kind of getting used to it. Villa will be banned out by Sabretooth Wolves, meaning we will be going to a possible 3 maps of Clubhouse, Cafe, and Oregon. Villa being banned, another standard ban here. We've seen a lot of play. I've personally casted matches on all 3 maps actually of Clubhouse, Cafe, and Oregon. With Oregon being between, if I remember correctly, between it was between QWE and Mischief, which was a very one-sided match if I remember correctly. So hopefully that Oregon will come out again, and we will see Nevermind and Sabretooth go for it again. But we will look for Nevermind Esports' third ban, which will give Sabretooth Wolves the option to kind of do a coin flip between the remaining 2 options. Between the 2 teams, they have not faced each other. They have not played yet, so we will be looking to see what they can kind of bring to the table and what they might show off on stream, if they have some cheeky strats hidden in the back corner, or if they've got something a bit more kind of solid or strategically based with a very standard heavy strat book kind of thing. And Nevermind Esports will ban out Clubhouse, meaning it'll be a split decision between Cafe or Oregon for Sabretooth Wolves to ban out. Both maps are very kind of viable, and Oregon will be banned out. The newest map in the pool will be banned out by Sabretooth Wolves, meaning that both Nevermind Esports and Sabretooth Wolves will be going to Cafe. And we will have it as, I believe it will be Nevermind Esports on defense and Sabretooth Wolves on attack, but we are looking for confirmation just in a second. And while we wait, we've seen Cafe quite a bit. I casted a game on Cafe between SYG and Virus Esports. That game was very handily won by Virus Esports. My mistake. And it was very interesting to see the way that they defended things. And Nevermind Esports will be going on the attack with Sabretooth Wolves on the defense. So a lot of teams, went for the standard bar or kitchen defense first, and then went to reading and fireplace dining hall, which is a very, very, very strong side we've seen recently. fireplace and reading, having this kind of ability to have an open sight really allows defenders to hunker down inside reading and to get a lot of control over the other side without having to commit too many bodies or too much utility into it. So we're just going to be waiting for our teams to finish loading into the match, and once we do that, we will jump straight into it and into the operator bits. And so if we look at the Division A bracket now as well, we will see that there's been a few kind of updates to it. Sorry, and I believe that'll be brought up very, very soon, or now, in fact. I'm just looking for it myself. All right. And so here we can see the Division A bracket as it currently stands, with the teams that have been pushed forwards and the teams that have been eliminated. No worries. And so yeah, we've done quite a few matches. Obviously, it's been a bit hard to kind of get casters, especially for some of us. I know for me and Kova, we live in Australia, which makes it very hard for us to cast at this kind of time, as it is very, very late. But we have only 2 more matches in the Div A left, as you have seen before, with Psychic Ignite and Virtual 5 Esports being one match, and the last match being between OG and Gamers Syndicate. But we have seen some absolute masterclasses coming out from each of the teams here. I myself casted and watched Kira Esports and Mischief, and I heard great things from the rival area esports matches themselves. And I'm looking to see which teams come out on top for this next round. I think that honestly, I can see big things coming out of Mischief. They handily won Oregon, and they handily kind of took over the match. So, this game is for the Div B match, which is, I think, on the bottom half of the Div B bracket in the photo. And we will see that whoever will be playing this game will go on to go against, if I'm correct in my knowledge, the winner between Syndicate and Ascent Esports. And so we've also seen some really, really good matches coming out from Div B as well. I think, honestly, in my opinion, Div A has been a bit more enjoyable than Div B, but we will see how that goes today with Div B's match between Nevermind Esports and Sabertooth Wolves. All right, looks like we have some small issues with the teams currently loading in. We'll get that, some small technical issues, nothing to be worried about. We will load in as soon as possible and get straight into the match. Don't you worry.
There's never been a better time to feel alive. I found no way, we're past the lines where truth won't lie. Life is waiting on the other side. Follow me into the underground. Watch the world changing as the sun goes down. Follow me into the underground. Whoa, follow me into the underground. Follow me into the
So we have figured out those technical issues, and we will be starting our match between Nevermind Esports and Sabretooth Wolves on Cafe Dostoevsky with, I believe it is Nevermind Esports on the attack and Sabretooth Wolves on the defense. And we will look to see our operator bans. On Cafe, you know, we've seen, I believe in the previous match, we saw a Thatcher ban and I believe we saw a Thatcher Mira ban with a Montaigne, sorry, we saw a Capital Montaigne and Echo and Mira ban. So let's see what these two teams bring to the field today in Cafe. And so the first team to ban will be Sabretooth Wolves, and it will be the Thatcher. Nothing too kind of wacky or nothing too kind of unorthodox. Thatcher is a very solid ban and a very well known ban, especially on a lot of maps. And Nevermind Esports for attack will ban the Monty. Nothing too surprising there either. As we look to go to defense, teams will most likely ban Echo for his Plant and Argue ability, or they will ban the Mirror because of her shield, her black mirrors, which allow her to kind of see into sight and gain a lot of control. And the Echo ban will come out as expected from Nevermind Esports, and we will look to see the final ban that will come out from Sabretooth Wolves from the defense. And it will be a Valkyrie ban. Okay, fair enough. What we saw in the previous game between SYG and Virus Esports was that there was a lot of Valcam runouts. Cafe is one of those maps that has a lot of large buildings on the outside that aren't protected by the skybox. So if you're a Valk and you have good cam placement, you can get a lot of intel onto people rappelling on the windows and things like that. And so I'm not surprised to see a Valk ban. Maybe they want to play that mirror for a specific site, but we will look to see Sabretooth Wolves on that first defense going to Bar and Cocktail. Looking at their lineup right now between the two teams, it's a very kind of, I'd say it's a fairly standard lineup between on the defense side with the Maestro on the Maestro and the Wamai that are the Maestro and Wamai and Jaeger that will probably hold off that piano side with a 6th pick from the Vigil onto Goyo, which will most likely give them more ability to zone out. And we will see Nevermind Esports change from the Ayana onto the Jackal and shift the original Jackal of Joey onto the Zofia. So we'll be going onto Bars, our first defense here. And he'll most likely go for a standard piano hold. Yes, using that Goyo shield in order to kind of hold off any players trying to open up the walls there. And it's a very standard hold coming out from Sabretooth Wolves. Nothing too fancy, nothing too unique. And I think that's perfectly fine. You know, you can do the standard strategy. You can just make sure that your plays work. You don't need to do anything very fancy. If you can stick to the rule, then you can stick to the playbook. And hey, if you get around the board, then it's not really that much of an issue. For the attack here, we see that they're going to bring out that Thermite. And this isn't necessarily a bad pick, but a lot of teams would rather bring the Gabbana here just because of her ranged ability on the X-Kairos rather than having to go up on the wall like a Thermite, especially in Piano, which is completely destructible from below in Train. That can be a really big issue if you have someone playing below with a C4 and a well-placed camera, or a proxy mine even. So we will see Nevermind Esports begin their attack. That dude will begin to rappel up onto the roof, most likely going to get the hatches with his ITAS shotgun, I believe. And we'll see Dank from Sabretooth holding that default plant spot and bar, fairly aggressively peeking down Skylight, which I don't think a lot of teams actually do, because I find it kind of risky to hold someone there. If you lose a life, it's a 4v5 straight away. And we will see Nevermind Esports drawing out red stairs, put a bit of pressure, and look to kind of decide on their next move. We have War Dog just checking the cams, making sure everything's fine, no one's repelled or rushed into heaven, and he will not find anything there. JD is going to drop down into red stairs. He's looking down. He's, as the Nomad, most likely going to air jab. Yep, he's going to air jab the red stairs to prevent any roamers from being able to sneak up on Nevermind and get any kills. Looks like the Zofia of Joey and Raki IQ will be beginning their push from pillars and reading, which most likely is in an effort to prevent. And the first kill will go out on to play of the Goyo. Looks like he was just getting a bit too aggressive with that reading push, and Raki punished him for the opening kill there. So it's a good start coming out from Raki and Nevermind Esports. He has lost a bit of health, roughly 75 HP, and the utility that you would have lost should have already been placed as the Goyo, but that Vector and C4 is still a huge detriment to your team. Wardog is going to be forced out of his position, most likely by the Zofia of Joey, and looks like Nevermind Esports look to push right stairs. The Zofia of Joey will just impact that set of barbed wire, and they will look to start to push as that dude is going to check heaven, and I don't know if he knows that Dank is there. The aggression from the Jaeger might just pay off now. And it looks like JD is just watching the stairs. Dank is going to swing on by, but he won't get the kill. We have Dank going down, and now the refrag will come out by Wardog onto that dude. That is now a 3v5. You've lost a lot of health. Looks like that Dadgum will get a frag onto Raki, but Joey will refrag onto him, and it is now a 2v3 with the HP favoring Nevermind Esports as they look to kind of get this plant down. There's 15 seconds left. There's not much they can do in here. All Sabertooth needs to do is just hold the side, and Wardog will get a double kill, leading into a triple kill now. It's all up to JD. It's a 1v2 situation. He's got 3 seconds left on the clock. They're going to hold him out. He'll get the first frag onto 6-8, but it won't be enough, and Sabertooth will take the first round on bar. So, all in all, that match was very... that round, sorry, was very kind of standard. We saw unfortunate early pick from play coming out there by Raki that kind of allowed them to have a lot more pressure on that bottom floor and forced Wardog kind of out of position a bit, but their attack kind of stalled down a bit when they lost that dude and Raki on the kind of the mid-round gunfights, and Wardog with that LMG of the outer 5.56 was allowed to just kind of tear through the entire team. So now we will see the kitchen defense coming out by Sabertooth Wolves, and they will opt to bring the Kaid and Castle instead of the Kaid, Castle, and Smoke instead of the mute Goyo and Maestro. Looks like Ayana won't be picked for the second time in a row, and she'll be 6-picked onto the sledge. Same lineup coming from Nevermind Esports, and it is a fairly good lineup. There's nothing really wrong with it. You have the soft destruction of Zofia and Sledge. You have hard breaching destruction of Thermite. You have utility destruction of IQ and flank watching of Nomad. So I think all in all, it's a very, very solid lineup here. In terms of the defense lineup, Castle is can be a very powerful pick on this kitchen defense. It can zone them out and allow the defenders to kind of have a bit more wiggle room to move, and bringing that Wamai Jaeger combo once again is going to be really, really helpful for allowing and stopping all those flashes, all those frag grenades that come out from the sledge, or the concussions that come out from Joey on Zofia. So we will look to see how Nevermind Esports can attack this site. Looks like the Castle of Wardog will open up VIP and that back section, that back dining section there, and it looks like they've gone for a fairly open site here. They've left a lot of holes out open, especially on that red stairs wall and the kitchen wall as well. And Raki is going to start pushing a small bakery window with his teammate, that dude, and JD looks like going up to Piano to kind of clear out any roamers and push them down a bit. Very different to the kind of setup that we saw from SYG and Virus Esports, in which both teams went for a very solid top-down roamer clear, where they were able to just get control of Piano and then push their way down. Here we see Nevermind going for a bit more of a, not aggressive necessarily, but a defense, an attack strategy that might leave them a bit more vulnerable if there's a Jaeger or someone lying around on the top floor who will just be able to collapse on them. But looks like the Jaeger is going to be playing inside kitchen with those ADSs set up to give him a bit more protection in case anything is raining over his head. The Castle will be there for a refrag. That dude is going to sledge open just above where the kitchen bomb site is, and he's just going to be trying to find any kind of hits, any freebies that he can find. He'll look to kind of pre-fire in that default plant spot commonly seen, and there's not much that he can find here. No gunfights coming out. 1 minute 30. Nevermind Esports has to start putting a bit more pressure on this defense. They haven't really gotten much control in terms of the war, and Dank is still there in kitchen, in bakery, I believe. And so Nevermind Esports needs to start pressuring, and Play is going to just hold that aggressively with the TCSG. He's got the ACOG and the angle and the vert grip on it. He knows that he can push that aggressively, and looks like he's going to also be supporting Dank on that bakery defense with Wardog hiding behind this reinforced wall, kind of pre-firing the double window. I mean the double door, sorry, and be waiting. But JD will get the opening kill onto Play, and looks like he will be only refragged by Wardog after JD gets a second kill onto Dank, and now it's a full V3 with Rota lost about 75 HP here, and that dude will get a second kill. That dude will get another kill onto Wardog, and is now a 2v4. And Sick Boy will also go down to double. That dude getting a double kill. That Dadgum will be able to take one of Rota, and he will be stuck in freezer as Joey will start to begin his plan. Looks like the open nature of Sabretooth's defense kind of backfired them a tiny bit, as Nevermind were able to get a lot of pressure very, very quickly. Shots coming out, Joey has gone down on the Zofia, and looks like Dadgum will not go for the finish. He will look to find a second kill here. The withstand might come out from the Zofia, yes it will. Does he know that this is happening? He does not, and Nevermind Esports will pick up their first round on the kitchen defense there. I think it was a very questionable play, honestly, for Sabretooth Wolves to kind of have that much of an open site when they lost the opening pick of Play and Dank. You know, it gave Nevermind just the ability to just rush into site and gain a lot more control than needed, and we saw Sick Boy and Wardog were just unable to kind of hold down site because the amount of angles that were coming out from Red Stairs and Bakery and things like that. So looks like they will go downstairs again, bringing the same lineup for both teams. Nothing unexpected there. Maybe they might change up the strategy, maybe they might stick to the same one, but instead try to hold that Red Stairs a tiny bit stronger, because I think that was the main reason that they were able to, that Nevermind Esports were able to get those opening picks and move through so quickly. So the opening pick coming out from JD onto both Play being the opening death 2 times now, which is a bit unfortunate considering as the Kaihid he has that TCSG and could have made a huge impact towards the end of the round. But they most likely look like to be doing the same strategy. Yeah, with the smoke opening up Bakery again, and Wardog castling a small Bakery from Red Corridor, we see the same setup being brought out by Sabretooth. And if Nevermind are ready for this, then they will most likely try to do the same type of strategy. They won't do anything too different. I think it is entirely dependent on who the first pick goes to. I think when they lost Play and Dank in that opening pick, it was very kind of easy for Nevermind to just walk all over Sabretooth there, and especially because they knew that there were no roamers on the top floor, they could just kind of finish the attack, and there wasn't really much pressure that they could put. Looks like JD will be able to spot out and look like Play there, and they will begin their attack onto this defense. You see here mostly the same kind of strategy coming out with that dude and Raki now going into piano. That dude is just checking that join inside code check in code hangers or something, okay? And that dude will now go and join out. Looks like a bit of pressure coming back from Play on that Red Stairs there. So they will be alert to his position. And that dude will just shift his positioning around as he goes to find if anyone's in train. He won't find anyone, he won't find anyone to meet reading or mining either. So now they know that it's roughly clear. Dank again. He doesn't have an ADS right next. Sorry, the ADS is a bit further down. My apologies. But Dank is holding this Bakery again with Wardog, and Sick Boy is behind the bar with Play again in that coat room. But if the drone is still there, then they're gonna know where he is the whole time, and that dude's gonna start sledging open the kitchen and mining, and now he's going to be able to hold off that rotate. Now, if Dank wants to be able to rotate back on the Bakery, he's going to have to worry about whether or not that dude is above getting, waiting for him to push through. So right now, Raki is just going to make sure the top floor is clear. JD is most likely going to be air-jabbing the white stairs and things like that, just to make sure that no roamers have escaped them very quickly. And looks like Nevermind are going to begin their real final push here with 1 minute and 15 on the clock. Wardog is going to get a few shots here and there, but Play will get the opening pick onto that dude with the C4. That looks like their only C4 on the board from the team, as I don't believe any of the other operators can bring C4 here. But that's a fairly good pick, especially considering that Sledge was making a lot of pressure from above. The C4 onto Sledge and that dude will allow kind of Sabretooth to have a bit more presence here, but he'll be refragged out by Joey, and JD will go down to War Dog. So it's another 3v4 here, and Dank has lost about 50 HP, and Joey is now going to most likely rotate around to Small Bakery. Rota has pushed the Jaeger out, and knows where he is, but he will have to fall back a tiny bit because of War Dog's positioning, and IQ will rush in, but Dank with the frag, it's an absolute fiesta here, and Sabretooth will be able to pull it back. It went way too quickly here. It looked like War Dog was able to pick up 2 quick kills there, saving Dank on the Jaeger from death there. And War Dog absolutely saving that kitchen defense. That was just amazing there. Looks like the IQ of Raki ran in, got blocked, body blocked by the Jaeger of Dank, and as that was happening, it looked like War Dog just swung out, saw that there was just a free IQ there, took the shot, managed to win the gunfight, and then yeah, it looked like Rota was able to follow up on Dank, but then Sick Boy came in and finished off Joey, and as all that, War Dog was able to pick up Rota, finishing out the round. Interesting round there on that defense, and now they will go back up to bar for the 4th round. So a tiny bit sloppy there coming out from Sabretooth Wolves there. It kind of got a bit of a cluster, and there was kind of a bit of luck that came out, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think that if Raki wasn't rushing so much, he would have been able to destroy the Jaeger of Dank, and then maybe have gotten a second pick onto War Dog, and that round would have been completely differently. But we will see Sabretooth bring the same lineup they did on the first defense. The Jaeger, the Mai, Newton, and Maestro. And a bit of team damage coming out on good play there. I think by Dadgum on the mute with that SAS shotgun there, mate. The SAS shotgun. And that's not going to be a huge issue necessarily. 25 HP is a fair amount, but especially when you're playing as Goyo, you know, you've put your utility down, so now you're just going to have to waste time as the moment. You got that Vector, you got C4, and you have just a lot of power that you can bring. So we will see Nevermind Esports now we're going with a Sledge instead of a Jackal like they did the first round from that dude. And they will to begin their attack. So that dude's going to repel onto the east side walls, and he will push with Raki again through to Pillar and Reading. He will spot the footsteps of Goyo, and we will know that the Goyo is in cocktail. So now we will see what Nevermind would like to do with this round. I believe a rehost is going to be called after this round. Looks like we have some sound issues coming out from Sabretooth Wolves. Nothing too serious there. We know that these can be a bit of a buggy game sometimes. No worries. Coming from production. And so War Dog will just pre-fire the ground a bit to try and scare off the attack, whatever it may be. And Dank will be able to get 1 kill as Rota just pushes in without checking any of the windows, and Joey isn't able to refrag on that. Dank is now able to just hide inside that default plant spot of bar underneath New Hatch. And what an opening pick coming out from Dank here. That's your Thermite down, you know, and as much as you might want to believe that Thermite might have done his job, you know, that's a man off the board here, and Dank's going to lose a bit of HP as well, as Raki's going to move into pre-fire, and he's going to move into piano now, but looks like they still haven't pushed off that person in piano. They still haven't pushed off the one Sick Boy, and he's just going to hide there. He hears the barbed wire being destroyed down white stairs, and him and Warp are going to slowly begin to push it, and Sick Boy will just come back to piano. Nothing too serious there. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, Nevermind Esports are going to have to start getting a pick or two here. They're going to have to start putting a bit more pressure onto Sabretooth to allow them to have a bit more freedom. The Zofia of Joey is going to not be able to destroy the shield, as the one Maya will be able to protect, Sick Boy just a bit longer. But the refrag will come out onto from Dank, and I believe It's all going too fast for me to see, and the stream quality is kind of degrading. Sorry about that, but Sabretooth Wolves will be able to pick up that final round. And we will go on to round 5 coming out between Sabretooth and Nevermind Esports.
I feel it too. But I don't think this could be something that becomes a thing. Maybe just for tonight, then I'll be over you. But when you got close to me, you had me falling so hard, baby, hard, baby. Yeah, now I get it, you got heads turning, and you don't even try. Well, would you look at that, my glass is empty, how about I get another drink, baby, okay, I get it, you got fire burning, right there in your eyes, oh yeah.
Welcome back to the Streamline League. Looks like we have sorted out our technical issues and we will be rejoining into Cafe Dostoevsky between Nevermind Esports and Sabertooth Wolves. The scoreline is currently a 3-1, with Saber Wolves taking 3 defenses there. And just on that last round, it seems like Nevermind Esports made a few tiny mistakes, especially with the lack of droning of Dank on that under that new hatch and in that default plant spot, and he was able to kind of pick off Rhoda really easily of the Thermite and put a lot of pressure on the team. So it looks like Sabertooth Wolves will now go down to Reading Room Fireplace, sorry. Which I said before earlier in the stream is a very powerful site, especially because you can hold reading from a mile away. Interesting that they're going to forgo the mirror and most likely just go for a open floor plan where they just use the smoke shotgun from Dadgum to just shoot out holes at foot level, so that Sabertooth Wolf defenders will be able to just shoot from below. But we will look to see how they approach this. And Nevermind Esports bringing out a fairly standard lineup here, a bit more soft destruction coming out. That dude is not playing the Jackal or Sledge, he's now going to the Ash, so he'll go for pure refrag power here. I just really want to comment on a particular individual of War Dog who's been playing pretty well this match. He's been getting his opening picks, you know, he's been a real good foundation for the team, although we have rehosted so we can't see the scoreline, unfortunately. You know, it should be known that War Dog has been putting in the effort with Sick Boy to kind of hold down the fort a bit, especially when things go wrong, especially as you saw on that kitchen defense with Dank and Dank running into Raki and body checking each other. So we will see how Nevermind will begin their attack on this middle floor site. Looks like the defense from Sabertooth is going to heavily invest in that top floor to prevent any vertical destruction into reading, and that dude is going to repel his way up. Most likely Nevermind will go for a top floor clear as well, as that is the most standard kind of way to approach this site. Get top floor control, open up the site a bit more, jump down a site, plant, win the round. Click heads and win that round, that's as they say. So Dank on the castle is just going to be opening up that fireplace hall site now with his super shorty. And this is pretty much the standard way that people hold this, as you know, it's very hard to kind of hunker down and turtle in that site because of the windows and just the amount of different zones and ways that people can jump in. So actually opening up that site and then forcing the attackers to plant in there is a strategy that we see in Pro League teams as well. Looks like Joey, I don't know if Joey actually saw the person down in heaven. Looks, maybe he won't. He'll notice that the piano door has been castled off, and Wardog is going to be just above that reading the pillar's door with a little vertical kill hole there so that he can just go to town and push any attackers that jump in. Looks like Rota has jumped into piano now, and Wardog and Dadgum will hold down the cocktail heaven side, while I believe Sick Boy is holed up in piano again, like he has been in the previous top floor defenses. Yep, so with that Wamai and 80Ss, he will look to defend a bit more. Does he know that someone's actually inside red? He's going to swing right now. Dank is going to get the opening kill. Sick Boy is going to follow it up. The Zofia isn't able to refrag just yet. Yes, now she will. And Joey will get the first kill. Wardog will follow up onto Joey, sorry. And so now it is a 2v4. Players lost a lot of health. Looks like they were using that pulse pretty aggressively to be able to give Wardog and Dank the ability to just, Wardog and Sick Boy the ability to just get those picks. That dude is going to go down to Dank, as he will just snipe him from laundry all the way down into fireplace with that UMP. Not the best gun, but you know, when it counts, it counts. It's a slow fire rate gun, but if you hit your shots, it will certainly do the job. It's all up to JD now in a 1v4 situation with 35 seconds left on the clock. He's going to start pushing Mining Hall and Train. I don't know if he's learned from what happened to that dude. Obviously, the defense of Sabretooth is going to play a lot more passively now as they have time on their hands, and you know, they know that JD is most likely going to be pushing fireplace here. He will begin his push by going to the fireplace hole, and play is just going to pulse and watch out and be careful here. And looks like Dank is just going to watch it. JD will get the kill onto Wardog, but Dank will clean it up and kill JD to finish off the round. It is 1-4 in favor of Sabretooth Wolves. So there, the pulse of play was really essential to that team there. It was able to get the opening pick onto Rota and I believe Raki from both Wardog and Dank, and that just kind of gave a lot more power to the defenders. They were able to hold offside a bit better and not have to worry about so much vertical pressure. Joey, although was able to get the refrag on a Sick Boy, was immediately traded out, and that just gave a lot more power to the defense to hold that side, especially when that dude and JD both pushed by the same way. So we will see now on the final defense, a kitchen defense coming out from Sabretooth Wolves, and they will look to clean up this first half of the match.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
So it looks like that dude is not going to go on the sledge. He's going to stick onto the Ash this time, and they will forego the Maestro on Sabretooth Wolves' side, instead having both Dadgum and play on the SAS operators of Mute and Smoke, respectively. So maybe they're looking to have a bit more kind of soft wall destruction and holding of the site with that shotgun. Looks like the utility coming out from defense is fairly good. They have 2 shields, 2 proxy mines, barbed wire from the Jaeger, and Mute with the C4, the lone C4, excuse me, on that team. So we will see what they do with this. Looks like they're going to go for that same kind of open floor plan site that we saw in the previous games. In the previous kitchen rounds, where they open up the red 2 kitchen wall, and they also open up the kitchen to bakery wall, which kind of allows them to kind of have a lot more freedom, but it is also a double-edged sword, because if they lose those players on that kind of defensive hold, then they lose a lot of that site. And never mind, as they won that round before, and the only round that they've won, can just kind of push and freely execute on the site with no real consequences. Wardog is going to back up Dank once again on that defense of the prep and bakery kind of site section. Dadgum is just going to be watching that white stairs like he was in the previous rounds. He's looking at the default cams. They haven't been taken out yet, and he doesn't see anyone there, so he's just going to tell his team that, you know, no one's pushing this side, no one's pushing with me. It looks like they're going to push for them the same way as before. And Nevermind are going to push the same way as before. They're going to clear out mining, clear out train, open up the site from above, and then use that to kind of put a bit more pressure and hopefully get some opening picks. Play under that red stairs window is going to hold a fairly tight angle onto the window itself in case anyone jumps in, and will get absolutely torn to pieces. And looks like the Ash and Nomad from Nevermind are going to be slowly pushing down wide stairs. He's got Dadgum's got Sick Boy to back him up here in case anything goes really out of hand. That almost looked very suspicious from Dadgum there. Looks like he was about to toggle on his war hacks. Road is going to lose by 25 HP, and Sick Boy is going to be perched up on that bar counter, and he'll be watching the reading and pillars stairs. Dadgum still holding down this wide stairs, and Rhoda will get the opening pick onto Warder, but Dank will refrag onto Rhoda, and Joey is going to spray heavily into that wall, take some damage out from it. But in that trade, looks like Sabretooth actually came out on top by being able to take out that thermite and no wall being opened here. And so even though it is a 4v4 with the health favoring Sabretooth, you've lost a lot of utility on the Nevermind side. And Raki will get a second kill onto play here. Now you've got a bit more of a power. And that dude will follow up onto Dadgum. It's a 4v2 now. They've turned around.